So this is just a quick MySQL tip on how to get the equivalent of is null and is blank. Okay, let me show you what I mean. In this query, let me explain what's going on first. I've got select all discount items.amount discounts.id. So we've got a discount and then we've got items that belong to a discount from discount items, and then we're saying join on discounts, so we actually get all the information about the discount itself. So on the discount table, we've got ID, code, the date the discount was added, the start date, the end date, and how many downloads this particular discount will support. And then discount items shows you which discount it belongs to, the product of that discount, the amount of that discount, and then the quantity. So how many of this particular item, this specific item, does this discount support? Instead of adding it multiple times, you can just have a quantity. And then this discounts for trees, okay, for actual digital trees. So we are also going to include the tree name. We have a disconnect in my database. The reason that this is the case is that trees are actually their own database, separate from products, okay? So that's the reason that we actually need a tree name in here, is because if you want to discount a particular tree, a specific product, that isn't in the products table, okay? So if we look at the query, in the products table, we've got 1 through 8 are products, and then 9, product 9, okay, actually is the tree, general tree. It's not specific to which tree it is, it's general tree, okay? So what we need to add to our query, we've got a bunch of our stuff, like when it starts, when it stops, how many quantities, how many downloads left, that kind of stuff. But then we have an extra piece here, which is we need to say if tree name is actually filled out in the discount. So let's go to discount items. Okay, if the tree name is actually filled out, then we want this particular discount line to only be specific to that tree. Okay, so what we need to test for is, as we're going through, we need to say if tree name is set, okay, if tree name is set, then tree name equals the current tree that I'm in my loop. In this case, my loop, I'm quoting in the air now, my loop would be this particular tree, Acacia or Acacia, however you say this. I'm not a tree expert, I'm not an arborist. Okay, so you could try and get some if or conditionals working, but what worked for me is the condition that all of this has to be true, and either tree name needs to evaluate to false, meaning it's not set, or it's equal to the tree Acacia or Acacia. Okay, so initially I had if tree name is null. Okay, so that was my initial, if tree name is null or tree name is Acacia. And if you run that, that works fine for here. But if we switch this to a non-tree product where it doesn't have tree name set, you can see that it returns blank. And that's incorrect. It needs to return a specific row. Okay, why is it not returning correctly? Well, that's because if we go to the content, we see that this is not just null, but it's blank. Okay, so testing for nullness doesn't work here because it's blank. And because these tables are editable, it's very possible that the user would just delete the content instead of actually setting it to null. Now you could in your code make sure it's null so that your query works, but let's make our query stronger and support both null and blank. Alright, so then what we could do is say tree name is null or tree name equals blank. Okay, and then we would need to wrap this particular part in parentheses. If we did that, we see we get our row, and that works just fine. Okay, and this actually works on trees as well. This should give us one row. So we're like, okay, so this is great. This is kind of long though. It's kind of long, kind of repetitive. Usually in code we would just put an exclamation point to say not, right? Whether it's set to null or it's set to blank, we could just test for notness, right? So we would just, so let's get rid of all this and just say if not tree name, right? We don't want to write a lot of code. That's the whole point of this tutorial. So if not tree name, right? So we test software, again, 7, and we run, and we get our results, so we're great. Let's test 9 now. Now we get 2 rows. How do we get 2 rows? How is that even possible? Somehow, and I don't know how, that not tree name apparently one of these evaluated as not tree name, and that's why it showed up. So even though this one's testing for matchness, this row right here, this one's still evaluated true because of not tree. So you're thinking, okay, that's really stupid, right? Well, it is stupid. So you test for not, the word not instead. Again, same thing. It's somehow using the word not doesn't work like you would expect it to. So to test for null and blank, a quick trick you can do is set it to less than or equal to blank. By doing that trick, we get our one row, and if we go back to the other guy, we still get a result here. So basically what we're tricking the system by doing this little trick here. This tree name less than or equal to blank is the equivalent of saying if blah is null or blah is blank. Okay? This is the equivalent of this. Well, let me actually just put this in here so it makes sense. Okay? So this line right here is the equivalent to this line right here. I could literally, and let me put my parentheses in just to give you actual equivalency, I could literally paste this in, well, there's no if word. I could literally paste this in place of this and it would still work. I will actually do that now. I'll copy this and paste it right here and it'll still work. And we change this back to 9, you can see it still works. Okay, so that is a one-for-one replacement, and this is way shorter than doing this, especially if you have some really long column names. Okay, so here's your quick trick of how to do is null and blank in MySQL query.